Yeah, how it's going today is 8th of July, Monday. It's new week, and we're taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find, or what might be important. I don't know. I'm not actively looking for any of those articles, but I thought there might be something. At any point, I might have written something in the search engine, and a bunch of crawlers now pulling up a lot of information for me. So I thought I'll bring more attention to something that might be important and that's happening in Lithuania. And from there, we're gonna come back to UK, and we're gonna touch on treasury and economy as well as energy. Something that we're gonna be taking a look at within today's video. Uh, there's a way more opportunities, but not necessarily we have enough time to cover all of those. But either way, Lithuania uniting the global anthem, sing along from Ukraine frontline T specific. So it's something that happened yesterday, 20 hours ago. So let's take a look at what this event happening, right? Some people told me that this is something that they're going to do, so I thought might as well let's take a look at what was published in this press release. Uh, just quick recap on calendar. Actually, we have just finished week 149. Overall, was great week. I again, I wish I could have done more, but that's where things are as of now. The way progressing to week 150, we're gonna be taking a look at every second day. We're gonna be doing some extra marketing, as well as we're gonna be closing this week while taking a look at some of the government contracts. That would be in the capital, Vilnius, July 7, from Ukraine frontline to specific islands of Vanuatu. Hundreds of thousands of Lithuanians simultaneously sang the national anthem of Saturday annual demonstration of unity. I think it's ongoing thing. It's all that it's something that's happening with small countries, right? It's a long story. It's a long story. We don't have time to get into it. The traditional launch in 2009 to mark 1,000 years in history unites the Central European nation of 2.9 million with a diaspora of estimated hundreds of thousands. So a bunch of people most likely are living in other countries, not necessarily just in Lithuania and Lithuania's population. I don't know if it's, I think it's slightly below that, but either way, almost half of Lithuania sang it 2009 in at last 56 places around the world. We were trying to account every single person who was singing. Okay. The people told me that this something that they're gonna. I haven't done it. I don't know if it was a memo. I haven't received it. North Star poll showed it has since been replaced annually on July 6th at 5 p.m. That would be +2 GMT or 18 GMT. Okay. Well, either way. So next time, perhaps next year, or myself or others might be able to take part in this. But either way, let's forget that opportunity. Let's take a look at some of these press releases while taking a look at UK. Right? Energy Secretary, let's keep names, sets out his priorities for department. So that would be energy sector, a new government, and we do not have a lot of time to pick things up. So, but at least we can take a look at what would be priorities when it comes to is it net zero? Or that should be one of the important priorities, not necessarily the only sources of energy, but that should be our priorities at the time frame, perhaps 5 to 10 years or so. So that coal, perhaps gas, and net zero, right? But either way, let's take a look at what priorities are. Message from this person following an appointment as a Secretary of State Energy Security for Net Zero. So let's take a look at the message and what he have as of now published. There's a lot of information to read and isn't enough time, so I'm gonna have to read it very fast, right? Earlier today was delighted to accept Prime Minister's invitation to serve as Secretary of State for Energy Security and Net Zero. I want to write to you personally to say what a honor and privilege it is to have been appointed to this position. I'm inspired to have the chance to lead the department and work with you all. The reason for I'm so excited is to have been appointed to the role is because it sparks directly to the twin passion that continue to motivate me. Okay. First, there's all in the economy and equality that scares the country and social tackling of the climate crisis and perils of world. Okay. Department will be a part of heart of the government's agenda, leading the Prime Minister's five national missions to make Britain clean energy superpower with net zero carbon electricity by 2030. It's very sharp targets of that, so I think it's way perhaps 2035. It's more reasonable, but perhaps they can achieve it. Perhaps to build a nuclear power plant or similar project, sometimes it can take 15 years. So when to add windmills, we have built a lot of windmills. I don't know if Britain and or UK has capabilities to or industry today. Solar panels, windmills. I don't think industry capabilities have that. So that's a very unreasonable target. But if you would ask me, but perhaps this person knows something that I don't. And accelerating our journey to net zero. Families and businesses across the country are still struggling with energy bills that are too high and are expected to raise again in autumn. In an unstable world, I only want to guarantee to energy security is cut bills environmentally and spending on transition away from fossil fuels and towards homegrown clean energy. Okay. I don't know if that's talking points, or not necessarily. We need hard data, right? The job of the department will be to deliver our mission to so we can make the UK's energy independent, bring down energy bills for good, create good jobs, and tackle climate crisis. Over long period of time, let's say 2035 or so, they might be able to achieve it. Might be able to achieve it. Everything what's as of now been set out, right? But I don't know. Let's get things moving. I don't know. Let's see how we can help. That really will get started right away. And my priorities are delivering our mission to boost energy independence and cut bills throughout the clean power by 2030, tackling our taking back control of energy with Great British Energy. Okay. Grading Britain's homes and cutting fuel poverty throughout a warm homes plan. Stand up for customers by reforming our energy system, creating good jobs in Britain industry heartlands, including just transition to the industrial base in North Sea, leading on international climate action based on domestic achievements. Okay, so that's overall. I don't know. Perhaps tomorrow we can take a look at fracking. So I was taking a look at chemical production, and during presentation I mentioned this person previously, where it's very energy intensive industry when it comes to chemical production, and he was bringing to my attention, other people attention. It was roughly, this video was released roughly about 1 year ago, and I think 2 years ago or so, quote unquote. So that's where confusion have started, right? So, but either way, so I think ban on fracking was lifted, so perhaps that would be some of those ways to achieve homegrown clean energy, or moving closer to that instead of perhaps purchasing a lot of energy from overseas, right? And then we'll take a look at North Sea, right? So once that has been said, we can close this letter, but we'll not necessarily have enough time. I don't know. In line with Prime Minister's approach, will be a mission-driven department, mobilizing citizens, businesses, trade unions, civil societies, and local governments, nation efforts where everyone has a role. Okay, let's see if we can reach out to this department and see how we can take part and support. Why not? Having been this Secretary for State for Energy or Climate Change from 2008 to 2010, arriving in the department feels like coming home. Back then, I saw firsthand the brilliant work of civil servants. I know how hard it can work to behalf of the country in the years since. Okay. So there's a lot. I wish there was a contact information, how we can take part straight away, and help this person to solve set targets, what he set for himself, would be perfect. As of now, there is no contact information, so we can try. But most likely there would be a form to fill in, and someone would send a lot of articles to read, not necessarily take charge or action, right? Well, either quick follow up, right? But either way, let's close this and progress to the next one. Overall energy is very important for overall how well government would be performing, and we can take a look at treasury and potentially UK if they would like. I don't know where UK stands right now if they're exporting any energy, or perhaps in the future we might be able to do that. But as of now, that in return can bring a lot of capital into treasury, right? Since that should be a part of the strategy, not necessarily that they are discussing that. But if they're importing or purchasing a lot, perhaps they can export it and make money, not necessarily spend money while purchasing energy. Well, either way, let's take a look at Chancellor's unveils new era for economic growth. After the Chancellor has today promised to take immediate action to fix foundations of the economy, rebuilding Britain and or make every part of the country better off. So it's something that was published today. So let's take a look at this article and what it would entail. Council has today, 8th of July, promised to take immediate action to fix foundations of the economy, rebuild Britain, and make every part of the country better off. In her first speech as Chancellor, there's a name there, pledged a leader of some of the UK's pioneering industries, build growth and strong, secure foundations built on stability, invest and reform, forge out new partnerships with the private sector, addressing the difficult economic inheritance with the government faced. She committed to take immediate action to drive sustainable growth and only route to improve the prosperity of the country and the living standards of working people. Okay. Okay, so there is some hard data. That was something that I was looking for. Setting out the first steps, delivering on the government's commitment in its manifesto that every action will be taken based on the sound money and all economic stability. Okay, that's a reasonable target to have. The Chancellor promises a new economic model that will grow the economy and keep taxes, inflation, and mortgages as low as possible. Okay, well, that's we can take a look at some of these projects in Kenya, right, where they look into 3D print houses and average price of building a house in that particular way. It could be close to $30,000. So if we can build a lot of those houses a year with a 30,000 pop. Well, we don't need to worry about mortgages if someone understands what I'm talking about either. But not necessarily that's a target. But since how many renters are as of now within UK, perhaps 40%. So mortgages and our house prices is a part of the strategy, which not necessarily building more houses, but focusing on mortgages and those kind of things. The Chancellor said that UK's economic growth or average rate of OECD economic over 14 years from 2010 it will be 143.3 billion, larger, worth of 5,053 for every household in the country. This could have brought in additional 58 billion in tax revenue last year alone to sustain our public services. Taking decisive action, all this data is, I thought it would be reasonable data. Not necessarily I would agree with any of what was mentioned, since we not necessarily would be able to capture it. But I mean, I understand the model and model how they accounted and they were using financial metric, but weakening of the pound would set all this data. So, for example, how weakened pound is, and so that would mean British pound is being controlled by UK's government. That would lead to believe that they could potentially print double of 143.3 billion, we can just double print that, right? And then we can increase and inflate these numbers overnight. So even if it's not been adjusted for how much pounds and all value of the pound against dollar. But either way, so it's this kind of graph. I don't know. It's perhaps for some people. Taking decisive actions, the government today announced a series of measures to lay the foundation of a dynamic, modern, and growing economy, including taking urgent steps to build 1.5 million homes over the next 5 years and immediate removal of the de facto ban on offshore wind in England as part of clean energy mission. Okay, so the target is reasonable when it comes to how many houses we're planning to build, as well as actions have been taken to potentially refurbish houses, as well as making sure that a lot of buildings, if a lot of people have more than one buildings and those buildings are not in use, they're looking to increase taxes on those people. So all kind of measures the government is looking to introduce in order to address housing crisis. so, so this is how far things have taken as of now. But either way, let's close on there's other things that they're looking to address. Perhaps we can touch on those, but this video is going to be too long. So there's a planning as well as other areas. But let's wait and see how well they would succeed. I would like to touch on one last article, right, and keep this video shorter if we can. Quick note, right? So when it comes to overall economy and UK's performance, there was economic crisis. There was can we say this word? There was a health crisis going on, right, where all the economy was shut down for some time, at least depending on what parts, all these kind of things. One, two, and the third one was UK leaving EU, right? So three factors who massively have impacted overall economy and its performance, right? So once all reasonable people understand it, we can take a look at some of the data that was shared within this press release. So that's the reason why I don't want to cover it. But since all this data should be not it should be neutral, would be great. I don't know overall. UK's performance when it comes to cutting economic ties, so many business leaving UK, economic slowdown as well as crisis, health crisis, all these factors put together all this data should be different, completely different, but some of the data was that been shared, all this kind of thing. So I thought I'll touch on it. I wasn't gonna cover it since I think it's waste of everyone's time, and we're gonna progress to another article. Last press release that would be award recognition for DSDL and DAS staff working on the Dragonfire laser energy weapon were among those commanded by the there's a position potentially, so they have recognized, so if anything that will be a cost. While taking a look at this potential technology, we can take a look at cost and or the price for every use, quote unquote, right, compared to alternative methods as of now been used. Potentially, if there would be a drone and someone needs to take down the drone, most likely they might be able to do it with laser, right? Compared to sending rockets, sometimes, I don't know, it can be very expensive, right? Perhaps instead of sending rockets, we could consider high caliber bullets. Even that would cut down the price, right? But laser, perhaps that would be alternative to that. So we can take a look at it. That might be important. I don't really know why we're publishing this kind of information if it's all this information publicly available. I don't know why. If you would ask me, that should be a military secret, but either way, so I thought I'll touch on it briefly, and we can close this video on. We can take a look at this article, right? So, if any government is manufacturing very important technology, that would have massive impact on their military performance. Not necessarily that government would be looking to publish any of the work, this has been completed, progress, but UK decided to do it, so I thought I'll touch on it. but sometimes it could be smoke, somebody smoke and mirrors for the code, right? So without touching it, perhaps there's a lot of people working on it. There's names there. Without touching it, right? Staff from Defense Science Technology Laboratory and the Defense Security Accelerator has been recognized with Commendation Award of the Vice Chief, okay, okay, and Chief of, okay, okay. The VSDS Commendation are awarded twice a year in tandem with the state honors to individuals and teams who have performed exemplary services to Minister of Defense. Okay, okay, okay. So there was a award going on, which is great. So we have made a lot of progress. As of now, I don't think this technology is working. So either way, so but awards been given, which is always good. Let's close on that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.